Welcome, everyone. Let's step right into day 10 of our 40 days of preparing the heart. Today, we're going to focus on a really delicate but absolutely vital task, separating our worry from our action. Take a slow, deep breath with me, and let's just settle into this space together. I'm speaking to you today as someone who deeply understands the sheer weight of everyday uncertainty. It's heavy, isn't it? And it brings up a really important question. Why does worry feel so much like responsibility? I want you to pause gently for a second and just look inward. Think about how often we trick ourselves. We genuinely believe that if we just turn a problem over in our minds 50 times, if we just agonize over every single angle, we're somehow doing our duty. It's like we unconsciously tie our conscientiousness right to our anxiety. We start to feel like, well, if we aren't worrying, we just aren't being responsible. And that right there exposes this quiet little lie we tell ourselves. The mind whispers, well, at least I am doing something. We have this deeply ingrained habit of holding on to our anxiety with such a tight grip, almost using it like a shield. But why? Honestly, it's because releasing that uncertainty, admitting that we just don't have the answers right now, feels way too vulnerable. Sitting in the unknown is incredibly uncomfortable, so our mind substitutes the exhausting friction of worry for actual movement. I really want to validate exactly where you are right now. None of us can escape worries. Having anxiety, finding yourself constantly brooding over things, these are incredibly natural responses to what is, frankly, a chaotic world. They absolutely do not mean you are failing spiritually. If your mind is racing right now, or if your heart feels troubled, you aren't doing life wrong. You're just experiencing being human. We're all navigating these everyday uncertainties minute by minute. It's that awful anxiety of waiting for an answer on a medical test, or being tangled up in a family situation that keeps you awake at 2 a.m. It's the constant, quiet hum of job and money stress, or the dread of a difficult conversation you know you need to have. Or maybe the hardest one of all, waiting on someone else's decision when you literally have zero control over the outcome. If any of these are sitting heavy in your chest today, please know that I see you. Your specific, current struggles are entirely valid. When we constantly brood over these problems, it isn't just happening in our heads. It creates a very literal, physical, and spiritual heaviness right there in the center of the chest. It's what we might call the mind's itch. It's this persistent, aggravating irritation that comes from unfulfilled desires and those continuous mental loops we get stuck in. So that physical heaviness you feel when you wake up anxious, that is completely real. It's the physical buildup of perpetual worry. So, how do we handle this? Well, there is a world of difference between a mind that is thinking because an action is actually required and a mind that is simply repeating a loop because it doesn't know how to release the uncertainty. One is preparing to move forward. The other is just spinning its wheels in the mud. If we want to lighten that heaviness in our chest, we have to learn to distinguish between the two. We have to ask what requires real action and what is just mental repetition. And this brings us to a really beautiful shift in perspective. We never want to trivialize worry or treat it like the enemy. Instead, let's reframe it. When we worry about a challenge, it's often acting like a quiet alarm clock. It's your inner consciousness gently tapping you on the shoulder, signaling that a genuine physical step is required in the present moment. It's an invitation to act, not a life sentence to suffer. To actually answer that alarm clock, we need to introduce two essential categories to help divide the burdens we're carrying today. I want you to ask yourself, very softly, what is mine to do? And then ask, what is not in my control? Almost every single piece of anxiety you have can be sorted into one of these two buckets. Mixing them up is what causes so much of our suffering. When we try to fix what isn't in our control, we fall into despair. But when we fail to do what is ours to do, we just stagnate. Let's walk through today's concrete practice, our homework of division and release. First, take some time to meditate and quiet the mind. Second, write down one current worry, just one, and keep it to a single clear sentence. Third, divide it using our two categories, what is yours to do and what is out of your control. Fourth, take one concrete, real-world step toward the part that is yours. And finally, step 5, which we'll save for tonight, offer the rest, the uncontrollable part, in your evening prayer. I want to touch on that fourth step for a second, taking a concrete action. I gently but firmly encourage you to break the cycle of mental repetition today. Please do not keep substituting thinking for action. Thinking about having a hard conversation is not having it. Stressing over a budget is not fixing the budget. Take just one real-world step toward the part of the problem you actually have the power to change. Break the spell of that mental loop. And as for the things you cannot change, someone else's choice, a delayed timeline, an outcome you just can't foresee. That brings us to the evening practice. This part is deeply intimate. Let a true cry from your heart serve as a prayer to surrender what is no longer yours to hold. Resign what is completely beyond your control to the simple, tranquil divine will. You have done your part. Now you must gracefully put down what belongs to the universe. As you move through your day-to-day and you feel that familiar itch of anxiety rising up in your chest, I want you to stop and ask yourself this question. Was I solving the matter or rehearsing it? Just observe yourself. Be deeply honest with your heart and do it without a single ounce of guilt. Just watch where your mind goes. We'll wrap up our time together today with this final, liberating thought for you to carry forward on your journey. Worry feels like work, but it is not always work. May you find the courage today to act on what is yours and the grace to release what is not. As you step away today, I leave you with this. What heavy, uncontrollable thing will you finally choose to put down?